You do have a lot of the rest of the gang.
And, you know, all of the dwarves. I'm sure most of them probably drink.
Mm-hmm.
I was more along the lines of referring to
In real life.
IRL.
Fucking idiots.
I have soda, does that count?
Yeah, that counts.
I have two.
Hey!
We know you have tea, Brandon. We don't need to ask you what you're drinking.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but we're going to suspect that you're drinking tea for the next fucking 5 years.
At least.
Only 5?
At least.
I mean, with the rate that you're brewing it, you'll probably burn through your supply of tea in 5 years.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a 6-month supply at my estimate, so I would hope that I would be through with it in that amount of time. I mean, I would hope.
Listen here, you snarky motherfucker. Nobody asked what you hope about. I'm relearning Russian. I want to use that as the giant language. Because it sounds like it would fit.
I have no problem with this.
Because I tried to look up like an actual giant's language, and there is very, very little. There's like, I think, 50 words that are documented for giant.
I mean, I was thinking of using Klingon for Draconic, so...
I'm picking it up pretty fast. It's coming back to me pretty easy.
What's Elvish then?
Probably French.
I mean, that's what most people assume.
Well...
Swedish!
Funny...
Swedish is very sing-songy.
I was gonna say Swedish or Danish.
Well,
Very sing-songy.
hysterically, I was more leaning towards, like, Korean.
German. Have the elves speak a very angry language, even when
We'll have Dwarvish
spoken
as...
neutrally.
We'll have Dwarvish as... We'll have Dwarvish then.
Dash Marteling.
Well, because Hadrish is based off the human languages are kind of based off the Romance languages. I was thinking like Celestial could probably be like Tamil, since that's closer to the kind of root of a lot of Asian languages. But yeah, that's neither here nor there. So, let us begin, I guess. Might as well jump right into it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why not?
And since we got to have a rest at the end of the last session,
Oh, yes.
I'm gonna load up on every spell I have that doesn't require verbal components.
Yes, everyone, everyone should
There's
be
like 3.
restored. Also, Dorian, you'll have to help me remember, what's her name?
What?
The female card caster, Genasi.
I don't know.
Pedrin?
Whatever her name is.
No,
don't
that is
know.
a man.
I didn't make notes or anything about it.
Well,
Take a man
that's not
for
the
a
that's not the thing I need your help with. What I need help with is her spells.
Oh right, yeah, that's fine.
Because she has the Chariot, the Emperor, and the Empress is what she drew.
Yeah. Okay.
Since that's a class since the class you've played, I assume you understand it better than I will.
Yeah.
Wait, shit, Brandon's gone live?
Yes.
Yeah. He's been live for a bit.
Yeah.
I was go live for a little
What?
bit before we start. Anyway, hello and welcome to the Marvellous Misadventures of L.E.O. I am, of course, your lovely, beautiful DM, Brandon, also known as B.
You look like fucking Mario.
Yes, I look like Mario today because of Movember. Fun times. Joining me as always is the delightful Tom.
What's up, guys?
Playing.
Hi. Very nice to see you.
Playing, of course,
Can you see
the charming Ragnar of Black Guitar.
Yes.
We have, of course, Simon, also known as Air Nico, playing the bubbly Dorian Crawfield.
Hello. Oh God, are you gonna get addicted to sweets again?
Probably. And of course, the
I have a few
The
things in mind
spiffing.
first.
verified, also known as John 1,
Yeah.
also known
Fuck these
as
motherfucking Fae in
Bozak.
this motherfucking town.
And today we are joined by special guest, Lucid Live, also known as John 3, also known as Lug.
I've just run out of alcohol. I'll be right back.
Was that Urk or was that John?
Is there a difference?
Well,
All right, so last time we left off, you guys had been invited to dinner by the mayor of Irmshala, and you found yourselves after sunset without voices.
sounds about right.
Yep, and some kind of weird barrier around the town, and yeah, fun times. Over the night, a couple of you have had experiences.
Mm. Indeedy.
Would anyone like to share anything that they noticed overnight with anyone else?
I've returned with 3 beers.
I noticed that. You see.
That depends. Can we? Is it possible to speak in the morning?
No.
It isn't.
Nope.
Okay, first things first. Gonna go looking for that that paper and pen wherever the hell we left it.
Would have been on the dinner table still.
At the dinner table. You guys are up in some of the guest bedrooms in the lighthouse. Dorian just kind of fell asleep in the library.
Alright, so that's going to be writing down a few things.
Alright, I'm gonna bring stuff over which I found to
It is
Dorian.
currently about 6 a.m. on the second day of Salat.
Too early.
It's really early, yeah.
I forgot. I didn't like that beer very much.
Of course, you guys can't hear Lug because Lug is, of course, outside the barrier.
Oh, I forgot I'm supposed to be in character.
I mean, you are in character.
Lug, for some reason, accidentally activated his comm earring, and you can hear Lug going about his morning business.
Well, I don't, because I took the fucking thing off. I was just like, yeah, this thing's useless. Take it off.
It's time for Lug's special treat. It's what keeps him nice and strong.
What is it? The eggs.
Also, she's in the library. Also, she kind of dozed off with you. You see that someone, probably her mother, has placed the blanket around her shoulders,
Are you getting giggity with a small child?
and Dorian as well.
I'm focused on the.
She's not
Books.
a small
She's
child.
not a
She
small
is-
child. She's 22 years old.
Yeah.
Small child by giant.
By giant standards. Dorian, what's your passive perception?
Hi, 14.
You notice that sitting next to her on the table is an arrangement of cards, presumably from her deck, that are the exact same arrangement as the one you woke up to.
For me, at least.
Which I sent to you in Discord.
Yep, and I'm still slowly working my way through to the definitions of each one. Because I don't remember. God.
Orpheer is kind of down in the dining room, brooding. Per usual. Yagisa is sitting there with a cup of tea. Not looking particularly happy. Dozak, where are you?
He's in the dining room. He has that piece of paper, and he's writing, looking very pissed off.
Okay. Dozak's sitting at
So-
the table,
so it's normal
furiously
stuff, then.
scribbling. And then Orpheus just sitting there, and he's just kind of... And then he just kind of go... And he's like... He just has this kind of sudden realization. He can whistle.
Fat load of good that does me.
Oh yeah, because dragonborns don't have
face?
dragonborns can't don't have lips to purse, so they can't actually whistle.
Oh, well done. Well, I'm just.
No, I've
I'm
got
just
other
in the
means.
loop.
I've got other means. I can clap my hands like thunder now. Fuck you.
Mayor Alcas comes in. He kind of knocks at the doorway so that you could hear him approach. And he's bringing a tray with some kind of porridge that presumably his wife has prepared, and he offers it to all of you, of course. Orifir will graciously accept.
I like how you called him Orifil.
Dorian, you notice also that there is a cat that has decided to perch itself at the table staring at you. You see it open its mouth as if to meow, and no sound comes out.
Just give it a little nod and. Did I actually get anything from reading these books? That I've read.
What books did you read?
I was reading history books of the area. I'd picked ones that I could read. It was just one of the local area, basically.
Well, you've skimmed through a lot of stuff that talks about Galdbari history. Something about 4 tribes. Lots and lots and lots of information about fishing and nets and developments in boats and rigging and things of that nature. But nothing really pops out that sounds like this.
I will just then gather my cards and go downstairs.
Okay.
Orifir,
I need to grab Simon first.
Okay.
Yeah, I grab him and show him the papers that I found.
So, Ragnar hands you a parchment, and scribbled across it are several notes about fairly high-level magic. There are several diagrams that you might be able to make sense of, and a great deal of equations. Do you speak Dwarvish by chance?
Nope,
I do.
but I don't.
Do you speak Elvish?
Nope.
Wow, you're just... What kind of mage are you?
I speak Sylvan and Primordial.
Well, would you like to give us an intelligence check to see if you can comprehend what these equations might be about?
That's a 19.
Okay, so you're not really sure what the writings are about, but you do recognize some of the equations. They are often used in certain types of spell work. It looks like someone is calculating like the effective area of a spell. And kind of what kind of general requirements might go into doing some kind of effect that would affect a large area.
Affect a large area.
Unfortunately, even if Ragnar could transliterate the dwarven text for you,
It's still magical. It is magical imbued, right?
it's not magical imbued because
Oh.
it's not spellwork. It's kind of like magical notes. Basically, Ragnar doesn't understand arcane enough to actually translate. He could tell you what they literally say in Dwarvish,
Yes.
but it would be very clumsy going from that into English without understanding what they mean. Or Hadrish. You know what I mean.
Common.
Common.
Yeah, interesting. I'll I'll look it over for a while. Give him a shrug. Give him back.
I'll also shrug like,
I don't do. No, I left my ink and quill and everything downstairs, so
You only have one ink and quill?
I've only got one ink pen
Wow. What a
and one bottle of ink. I never bought any more because I never thought that we would all be silenced.
Oh, look at that. Cadissa actually speaks Dwarvish.
So I'm gonna continue making my way down. And head to the paper. Oh wait, it's been taken, hasn't it?
What's been taken?
Dozak.
Oh yeah, Dozak has the...
I'll take out another parchment. Because I've got many parchments.
Assume that because your hosts have a library, there are probably several inkwells and quills that they have.
And I'll write down when. Oh, sorry. When cross that out and then when did you find this? And I turn it to Ragnar.
Okay.
When did you find this?
I'll just shrug. Wait.
You just then I write down. You woke up with it? Question mark.
Huh?
Very helpful. ...
I'll just put my thumbs up and walk away.
Curious about the exchange that you've had. Cadissa has now woken up. She's looked at her cards and gathered them up for the time being, and she's come over to see what your commotion is about.
I'm gonna show her the writing and be like, huh?
Okay, let's where's Cadissa? I don't know why I closed it. Oh, I actually shouldn't be doing it on that screen. I shouldn't be showing the audience necessarily what Cadissa's stats are.
That's
Obviously not.
fine.
But let's give her a roll, shall we? For Arcana. Since that's what we know that this is dealing with.
Wow.
She looks at it and she kind of studies and she motions for the quill.
I give it, of course.
And she makes several furious notes out, and she kind of slams it down. And one of the first things you see is written in big, very well formed letters. Actually, she's very nice handwriting. And it says "brilliant."
I'm just like, huh?
I'm just reading on still.
Um,
Notes.
She's kind of made a few of the notes a little bit more clear, and you understand that what's been calculated here is the approximate arc of what can only be presumed to be the kind of glass that's around the town. And it's kind of triangulated where the epicenter would have to be, and the kind of volume of magical energy needs to be put into it, and the kind of rough raw energy of the focus, which you realize could only possibly be the giant obelisk in the middle of town. This is basically a mathematical proof of how the spell had to have been cast.
Using the
Wait,
massive
huh?
thing as a foci and the source, essentially, of where it is.
Pretty much, yes.
Lug is really glad he's not there.
Just doing big nerd shit here, don't worry.
Don't worry, you get stuck in here with us soon.
She kind of looks at Ragnar. She just kind of slaps him on the shoulder, kind of like a well done.
Alright.
I also give a really confused look, because...
We're both just like,
Oh, it was written, but... I don't know.
And kind
Well,
of
breakfast is needed.
from around her feet, her otter kind of comes out and gives like a little chitter, like. And she kind of
It's a water dog.
she kind of picks him up and carries him in her arms, kind of like you would a small child, just kind of gently stroking the back to comfort it.
where's Lug?
Somehow he just sees what we see occasionally. It's a weird thing. When he gets separation anxiety like this, he just starts imagining what we're seeing.
That sounds legit.
And suddenly you hear a kind of grumbling sound, and Cadissa's face goes slightly flush as it's the sound of her gut being hungry.
Yeah, I'm going back downstairs again to get breakfast.
Yeah, she motions for you to come with her.
Who's Simon?
Well, both of you.
Both.
Oh, okay. I'm just like,
Little did you know, she eats people.
But you guys kind of
I believe it.
come downstairs, and
Ragnar will be into it.
the missus has brought out more food. There's like a kind of a general breakfast bed. There's like several bowls of porridge, a few selections of kind of seasonal fruits, some kind of seaweed thing, fish and that kind of stuff, a little bit of rice. Just kind of general preparation for whatever you guys might like that they could afford.
Yeah, I have some breakfast.
Buterbrod?
Just a very sad.
Oh wait, I'm with the whole caravan. I've got all the food.
Oh yeah, we forgot to tell you, but
Yeah, you son of a bitch.
Ragnar bought a crate of pickled herring for the entire caravan.
Oh, he knew it was my favorite.
Well,
The tiny fishes they serve as a great snack. What can I say?
As you're sitting down to breakfast, suddenly you hear the loud and frantic ringing of some kind of large bell. And you see the mayor and his family kind of exchanging
Brandon?
glances.
Brandon Dozak was doing stuff before while we were upstairs.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I slapped a whole huge thing in the
It's big and orange in the chat.
in the chat.
Big and
I'm
orange.
not sure how you missed that.
Because I was too busy listening to myself talking, obviously.
Yeah, he just loves his voice.
Yeah, I can believe that.
Suffocating darkness aside from the crack observed in the world peeled back the ancient presume
Oddly enough.
Yeah, I don't remember the fucking names of the place. It's an ancient room for fuck's sake. Why would I remember that?
that's true.
Wait, what? Orpheus just kind of looks at you a little bit confused and is like, "What crack?" Because I don't think you've ever talked to Orpheus about this.
That will look very exasperated as he will write as he'll add to the end of that. I noticed that the world pillar back there was damaged.
Orphere's just like the Orphere has no idea how to interpret your dream
One sec.
thing, your vision, whatever.
Yep, well, I don't care if you can interpret it or not. I've just handed it off to the person who is not going to tear their non-existent hair out about something they don't have the patience. My hands are washed.
You don't have hair though.
That's why I said
That's why I said
non-existent.
non-existent.
Sorry, I didn't catch the non-existent part. Okay. Anyway, suddenly the alarm bell sounds, and you see the mayor stand up very abruptly. He kind of puts a hand on his wife, kind of, stay here style.
I'll put a hand on his wife.
And he kind of gets up and kind of begins dashing off. His daughter also pops up and runs off after him. What are you guys going to do?
I'm gonna
I'm back.
make sure the wife is okay.
Well, while you do that, Dozark is going to look to his compatriots and gesture after the mayor in a fairly clear gesture of should we follow him.
Orpheus kind of stands up, and you see him kind of check his weapons and head off.
Yeah, Dozark's going to get up and get up to go as well. Ragnar's clearly staying here because there's women here, of course he is.
Mm-hmm.
So Ygrissa can come along too.
Right.
Because I'm sure she doesn't want to have any part in whatever the fuck he's going to get up to.
Dorian?
Sorry, I missed all of whatever happened.
There's an alarm bell, and the mayor's running after it.
Oh, I'll run after that. I'll just get up on the table and go after as well.
Okay, so you guys are where is it? Let me zoom out a little bit. It's a little bit of a ways down the street.
I'm going to start charming the wife.
Yep.
Okay. As you make your way into town, there's kind of like a small crowd of people as people are kind of wondering what's going on, and you see this kind of official-looking man you gather is some kind of like guard captain or sheriff or something. You see him kind of telling people to stay back, and he kind of motions to the mayor, and he hands him a parchment. The mayor kind of looks at it, and you see like some of the color kind of drains from his face. And I totally didn't just give him a spell that I realized would work for this purpose by switching out a different one, because this one doesn't have a verbal component. But he casts Minor Illusion. And you kind of see these, like writing kind of appear over his home that kind of just says, everyone please return home.
Is this... Wait a second, is this like a man behind the curtain thing?
No. He just has the ability to use Minor Illusion, which, like, fuck, doesn't have a verbal component. And he kind of you see him kind of pull his daughter aside, and he kind of gestures for her to go back home. So she'll be on her way back. He hands the parchment to you guys.
Okay,
We read it.
of course.
It basically says that someone discovered a mutilated body over in the general store.
That's within the dome, right?
Yes. Most of the town is actually in the dome.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, I'd think so. Just thinking if it's centered there, then general store's over there.
Yeah, it's Oop. Did I zoom out too far? I zoomed out too far.
Which means I'm guessing those guys are far, far away over there.
Yeah, those are kind of like the carriages you guys came into town with.
Okay.
Yeah. That's not the caravan. You just kind of didn't want to walk all the way into town. They're kind of
That makes most
they're
sense.
kind of parked in one of the sort of in a clearing a bit away. But
Yeah, that makes a bit more sense
yeah.
then.
Yeah. Yeah. So, the mayor kind of uses his illusion spell to kind of say, will you help us, Leo?
I use my minor illusion spell to say, sure.
Yes, Bozak will just like look between these two illusionists
nod.
and just shrug and nod.
Yeah, or if you're
Hey, if one person's showing off, I'm showing off too.
or if you're kind of nods as well. So the five of you then make your way over to the Gentral store, which there are with the guard captain as well.
By the way, while we were because we were by the crystal, is there anything different about the crystal?
What's your passive perception is 14? That's not quite high enough. Does anyone have a passive perception higher than 16?
Let's see. I don't. Does your guess? I don't think she does. No, she does not.
It's very rare that anyone would have such a high fucking passive perception, but you know, you guys have built some pretty fucking crazy characters. Orpheus passive perception is 13. Okay, so you guys don't worry about it, Lucid. It's fine. Lug probably would never even notice. Could you roll me a perception, Dorian?
Nope.
You don't notice anything. Dozak? You'll have advantage.
Oh god, I have advantage on this. Oh dear. Hey.
Okay, you pass. You notice that sure enough, it's rather small, much smaller than the one you noticed in all the way in Villara. But there is a tiny little crack in the obelisk. It looks like
Okay.
it looks like it could be about maybe 3 inches across, but from what you can see, it looks like exactly the same shape.
Okay, so Dozak is going to stop and grab Orpheus' shoulder, so he also stops and just points to the crack. Points at that crack, so you can see that as well.
Okay.
And he's going to say something, kind of like close his eyes and rub his forehead a bit before, I don't know, take out his scimitar to like scratch in the dirt. That is new. And the same as what I mentioned previously.
I'm going to allow Orpheus to use wisdom because he's better at that than he is at intelligence. And see if Orpheus has an insight. Orpheus
hope
is not.
so. Oh god. Okay, we're completely in the dark. Can I make an insight, or is this for his benefit?
It's almost as if someone in the party's been researching these things for quite a while.
It's almost like I don't know that at the moment. Or did you mention it? I don't
I
remember.
talked to you directly about having nightmares and
okay.
worries about the world pillar back in Valar.
Wait, you talked directly?
To you, and you said don't worry about it. And someone else, and then the elf guy said for me, I eventually talked to him as well, and he said for me to go, we're going to get to the Elven city, and I can read up more there, hopefully. I talked to you directly about it. This was like 2-3 years ago.
I think I realised I probably said that because there's nothing you can fucking do about it, so don't worry about it.
You dismissed it, basically. But I talked to you directly about everything that I've done.
Well, that completely slipped my mind, so yeah. So there we go. Do I get an insight to remember that?
Sure.
Doran's still just bouncing along.
If you can pass a DC 15, sure.
I have okay.
There you go.
Okay.
Crazy.
Okay, so after a momentary thought, Dodek's also going to grab Dorian to stop him, and also, point out the same thing on that pillar, as well as what he wrote in the dirt.
I look at the dirt. I look at the crack now.
Roll me. Let's see. I guess technically it'd be a history check because you're trying to see what you remember about such things.
13.
You feel a little bit confused because what you remember is that the world pillars are supposedly indestructible.
It was more. I remember it was more a case when I talked to Adrian. It was a case that if anything wanted to damage them, the amount of power